Go. Make sure it's everything correct. Yep, yep, yep. Test, test, test. Yep. Okay. There we go.
How's it going, man?
It's going well. How about you, sir?
Doing pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like the. Let me just make sure everything is good on my end. Hold on. Just turning on my second monitor because I got
Cool.
two monitors for one to see the chat, so then obviously I could see if people are asking you guys questions, and then making sure that there's nothing funky going on my end, so then people can see you and see me. So just
Yeah,
bear with
cool.
me for just two
You're
seconds
good.
here. But how's your day so far, man? You doing all right?
Yeah. I've been working since 4:30, so it's it's a lot, but it's cool.
Yeah, dude, that's a grind, man. I definitely feel that because after yesterday, my yesterday was my first time actually going to my concert, my very first concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun. I had so fun going to that concert. That was a blast.
Who'd you go see?
Uh, Walking down Main, Disaster Piece, Enox, and
Hmm.
Skyline.
Nice.
Yeah, they were. I didn't stay all the way until the end because by the time it was getting like 9:30, 10, I was exhausted.
Oh yeah.
But the first two people that I was mainly wanting to see were Walking Down Main, and then I haven't heard of Enox until yesterday. What a band! That was some good stuff.
They put on a good show.
Oh yeah, dude, that was so fun. Like after telling everybody it was my first concert, like everybody was like, "What?" I felt like I was just like, "Listen, man, I'm sorry. Like I just didn't know."
Where are you based out of?
Detroit.
Oh, okay. Oh man, you get a lot of good shows then.
Oh man, I missed out on some bangers. But like from what I was hearing, I was kind of glad that I missed out on them because they were so sold out. It's like I don't like big crowds. Like so the crowd that I was with yesterday was kind of like perfect for me. It
Nice.
wasn't there wasn't too many, there wasn't too small. Like it was perfect. I liked it.
That works out perfect then.
Yeah. Um but yeah, with my first time doing that was super fun, and now I understand what everybody is talking about. With concert is a definite different experience. I definitely see what you guys mean.
Hmm. Live
Um,
is so much different.
yes, yeah, that um, that was actually the one thing I wanted to ask was that was kind of like my first question into your guys' thing was with me first time experiencing concerts and stuff like that. What was like your guys' experience when you guys performed for the first time and like that? Like, how did you guys feel about that?
I think we were excited to be playing, but we really started out playing for no one. We started playing at bars when we were under 21, about a million years ago, and by the time we would play around 2 a.m., so we weren't allowed to go into the bars. We would have to sit outside until like 2 a.m. and then go in and play, and by then to be nobody in there.
Oh
And
wow.
but it was fun to get the experience, and honestly, like back then, you're young and you're kind of, I guess, ignorant,
Yeah.
towards what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
And so we were just having fun. Um, but now, now it's like we've been playing for. Uh, we've been a band for 20 years. We've been playing, hard probably for like 15 of those years.
Oh wow.
And so, hopefully, as we go along, it's like, hey, we have bigger and more intense crowds, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what we love. I mean, our live shows, we love recording and releasing music, but the live shows are definitely our favorites.
Hell yeah. Yeah, especially with my first time. I keep on bringing that up. Sorry, but like
You're good.
it was such a trippy experience because like as somebody who grew up playing Guitar Hero, I played a lot of
Hmm.
Guitar Hero and grew up wanting to play a guitar. Now I play guitar now, but
Nice.
like I felt like I was like in a like it was so surreal. I felt like I was in a rehearsal for a music video and like they were getting ready to do like the motion capture. Like I just it was so surreal. Like it was just so surreal. I just felt it was weird. It felt like I was at like a party and it was
Right.
just it was so fun. Like the best way I could describe it was like I was invited to this party and they had like people that just like doing like playing metal and stuff like that, and those were like the performers, and
Right.
everybody was super nice, super friendly. My biggest concern was, my God, there was like these two big built dudes in the
Hmm.
middle trying to like they were pushing people around. As you could tell with my fit, I'm not a big dude. So I would have gotten pushed around like a
Oh
rag
yeah.
doll, So I kind
Yeah,
of
I don't
just
I
stayed
don't
away.
yeah, I don't I don't do much in the form of pits anymore. You know, we obviously encourage it,
Yeah,
and you know, ours is a little bit different. You know, you we can kind of cross over to both metal and hardcore.
yeah,
The metal shows have a different form of pit than the hardcore shows.
definitely.
But both are fun, and we always try to get as much as we can out of the pit, and hey, if people want to slam dance, I'm cool. If people want to hardcore dance, I'm cool, like as long as everybody can get along.
Yeah, no, everybody was super super nice to me, and the everybody that was performing, they put in 100% of their energy, and like it was so funny because me being an inspired interviewer, because like I'm trying to become a person that interviews bands like this on a regular. Um, I was actually able to do my first in-person interview, which was
Nice.
super. That was super cool. That was super fun. So being able to do this with you is super cool because not only am I fresh out of a concert, but now I get to talk to a band that I've been listening to on a on a frequent day to day basis. I've been listening to you guys pretty
Well,
frequently
thank
here.
you.
Well, yeah, you
That means a
guys.
lot, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys have some killer stuff. Um, I showed my friend Felix. He goes by Hyrule. I showed you guys his music to him because he likes a bit of the kind of rock into like the metal, but like what you guys
Hmm.
do is kind of like the fair taste of like that fine line in between of like, yeah, you got that nice little breakdowns, but then you got the nice choruses, you got the chill stuff, and then like the punch in the face. Oh my God, some of them were just straight punches in the face, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's what I love the most about your guys' music, and that's what pulled me into wanting to reach out to you guys in the first place was Golden Calf.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah, after hearing Golden Calf, that that was like, yeah, I had I had to ask some questions about that music video because I do have some questions about that.
Well, we've always been a band, and I think you can tell by listening if you listen to any mix of songs, 1 through 10 or whatever, in any album, any order, you'll see, we try to explore different genres in
Yes.
each song. It's not just straight hardcore, it's not just straight metalcore, it's not just straight metal, but you have licks of pretty much everything, happening. And we kind of we kind of write songs where it's like, oh man, like I've been listening to a lot of like Converge lately or something, and we're like, okay, let's do something in the vein of like Converge, or like we've been listening to a lot of like Terror, or we've been listening to a lot of like Kill Switch or something, and we're like,
Yep.
okay, let's kind of mix what we like, in that, and then like for us, I grew up with our lead guitar player. We grew up with all like new metal,
Oh, okay.
and that is still like one of the biggest influences. And so if I could show you like direct instances where it's like, oh, this is it's not a rip off, but it's an inspired riff by like Static X, but because we did it a different way, it sounds like a hardcore riff, and
Yeah.
um, so I think we try to combine. We want to keep the listener always guessing on what's going to come next, and um, I feel like people enjoy it, and at the end of the day, like I enjoy it, we enjoy it, so like that's all that matters, right? And we appreciate when others do too. So
Oh yeah. When I when I first heard you guys, because I was me and my boyfriend, we on occasion we go around on YouTube and we find upcoming bands, and
Hmm.
that's when we found you guys. And it was funny because I was like, I seen your guys' music video for Golden Calf, and I was like, oh, so this is the band. And I was like listening to it, and I was like, okay, okay, I was really feeling it. And then I
Hmm.
started deep diving. I was like, all right, well, if there's only one song here, let me see their Spotify. Looked up your Spotify, started really listening to your guys' stuff, because then I was like, oh, okay, so this is what they really be making. So
Well,
I
thank you,
definitely,
man.
yeah, I was really blown away with with what you were saying. With introducing different types of genres, and
Hmm.
I've noticed that with your music as well. With especially some of your other songs that I've listened to. That I mean, they go from like chill choruses that kind of come off as a punk rock, but then there's
Yeah.
some songs that come off as, like you want to listen to that when you're working out, like
Right.
I like that. I love when bands do that because, at least in my personal opinion, um, like with me working with Making Blind IC, I'm close friends with Making Blind IC. I'm good friends with
Hmm.
Mark, and me and him kind of have the same ideology of making music, which made me want to come and talk to you guys, because you guys have kind of the same ideology as well, where it's like you want to expand your horizon and keep your fans guessing, which is something that I
Right.
love so much, because it's
Yeah.
like the next song is, you don't know what's going to be next. I
Exactly.
I love that, because it.
Yeah, well, I listen to, I listen to a lot of bands where it's like 1 through 10, all the songs sound exactly the same,
Yep. Hmm.
and that's fine, but I personally want to have like where I'm opening up like a gift,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's inside the gift, and you're like, all right, song number three, let's see what's inside, and so yeah, that we just try to push it. We try to push it as far as we can with each song, and it's not like we're not inventing a new genre. It's not like we're Tool or like Primus or something weird like that. But every song is going to be, hey, it could be thrash with breakdowns. It could be, As They Lay Dying. It could be. I'm trying to think of like like a hardcore like Terror or somebody. But we try to combine everything, and I'm glad you recognize that.
Oh yeah, no, I think my boyfriend and a lot of my friends could definitely say I have a good ear in hearing good music.
Hmm.
If it doesn't reach out to me, I don't really, I don't, how do I put this? I don't go out of my way to talk badly about the band if I don't like it. But
Hmm.
if it's not for me, I try to find it for somebody else, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I found some bands that I never really liked, but my boyfriend loves them, and it's
Right.
like, hey, if he likes it, then I try to like it myself too, because it's like I want to expand myself too, where it's like I like me being a guitarist, I want to learn new music, so it's
Right.
like learning what he likes and then learning what I like. It's huge different planes. Like he likes musicals. I like hardcore thrash. There's a huge difference here, man.
I'm trying to figure out a way to combine those. Honestly, I have a buddy of mine who does like big band stuff,
Okay.
and I'm like I haven't been able to connect the two yet. And
Classic and metal.
I'm like I got to figure this out, to have big band go into like metal and hardcore and figure out how to do it. So if we could figure out how to do like a metal musical, that'd be sick.
Dude, honestly, I mean, I'm kind of like I've come up with some pretty good ideas for making Blind Icy, and they've kind of used some of that. I mean,
Right.
I could probably help you out with some ideas.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, especially like a musical. Funny enough, my boyfriend's mom is a musical teacher.
There you go.
She literally teaches people how to do musicals, and she hosts them. She writes, like she's very, like she's smart. Um, but maybe maybe what we could do is, one of these days, you, me, and my boyfriend, we can all get into a call or something like that, and maybe actually see what we can actually do, because he can actually sit there and tell you what songs would be good for, like, this would sound good for a musical. Like, he'd tell
Okay.
you straight up.
That'd be cool. Yeah, yeah. Bug me after we get done with this.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, no. If anything, I definitely dude, that'd be actually really sick to think about because like we could do like a Slipknot era, so it'd be like all '90s metalcore shit, and like, oh, bro, bro, the whole musical would be based off of like different eras. Bro, I see what you're going with already, bro. Oh my god, that's so sick. I can
It's unlimited. You can do anything.
Yeah, like I could see so much with it. I could see somehow Van Halen getting involved. I could see somehow like all of like I could see this. I could really genuinely see big bands being interested because like I know it'd be a long shot, but just like imagine Lorna Shore, right? Will Ramos
Right.
taking one of their songs, like Oblivion, for example, turning it into a classical piece, but with the same metalcore taste.
That would be sick.
Like that's exactly what I mean, bro. And we take your music, bro. There's so many people's music that we could just take. That oh, bro, that's gonna be so sick. Yeah, that
You're
you have a really good idea for sure.
well, thanks.
That's definitely one of the coolest ideas I've heard in a long time. That I think I can definitely with the next couple of bands that I'm going to be interviewing, maybe I can throw that up to them and see if maybe they'd be interested too. You
That'd
know,
be cool. Yeah. The more the merrier, right?
yeah, maybe I'll talk to Mark about that too and see how he feels about that because he's been wanting to do better. He's been wanting to learn to do better clean vocals. So hey,
All right.
hey, if you want to learn to do clear vocals, do musicals, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's darn right.
Yeah, that will really pushes your vocals for sure. Um Actually, so that kind of brings into another good question that I had. So since you were
Okay.
bringing up like musicals and such, what was like your upbringing into wanting to get into metal and stuff like that? Like what got you into metal?
Hmm. I don't. I've always thought I've thought about this question for a lot. You get it a handful of times. Like, how'd you start on this journey? And I don't know. I guess I was just listening to the radio. And this was a billion years ago because I'm a billion years old. So went back when you used to listen to the radio in the car, and my
Yeah.
mom probably went into the store, and I'm like 11 or 12, just hanging out in the car and flipping through the stations, and I think it was I think it was 311 was on
Ah.
the radio, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so I remember I went and bought their cassette, and I bought Green Day Dookie on cassette, and that kind of started the journey. And I my first ever like CDs were old, like The Prodigy and like Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yes.
Um,
Nice.
but that's what kind of started it. And then from there, you obviously like go looking for different bands and stuff, and then you stumble upon like Pantera, and then I think it was like Hatebreed was probably my like my in between metal and hardcore. Go listening to Hatebreed, and then on to like Terror and stuff. But it was probably, I think, I always give credit to 311. 311 was probably one of the first bands that was heavier that I had listened to.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that you say that. What's funny is you wouldn't believe this if I told you, right? For me, it was completely Uno reverse card. So I grew up with like listening to Michael Jackson and pop music and
Okay.
I guess you would say a bit of rock, because like the radio would play rock, but I really got into metal when I started playing Guitar Hero 3. Like when
Oh, gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I first started playing Guitar Hero 3 and I was just oh my god. Uh when I first played like System of a Down
Hmm.
and like when they had Chop Suey in there, I would always
Yeah.
play that song. That was one of my favorite songs. And I was just
Yeah. I
like,
feel like
this is
all the
my
Guitar
stuff.
Heroes were like gateway drugs.
Oh my, dude, don't even get me started, bro. I could sit here and geek out to you how many hours I put in on Guitar Hero, and like I could sit here proudly saying that because like don't get me wrong, there's people who can obviously play better than me, but I have a certain kind of like childhood memory of mine where it's like every time I see like the motion capture behind their music, it's always so special to me because that's unique to the game and there's nothing else to it that's unique like it.
Right.
And I was kind of like wanting to take that idea and how you were kind of coming up with that musical idea. I was thinking about making a fan game based off of Guitar Hero where I was going to get a bunch of metal bands, upcoming major bands, all that, and we were going to get every band to just do a bunch of their set list, motion capture them, basically release it to everybody so then people can play it on guitar. Like it'd be like a whole Guitar Hero
That would be
DLC.
awesome.
That's what I've been literally playing in my head. It's just I don't have the money. I don't know anybody that knows how to do that stuff. So
Right.
sadly I can't do it, but it's been such an idea of mine
Well,
for
maybe you can crowdfund it.
I was thinking about that too. I was really, really thinking about it because it's like metal itself has been so undeserved in a way of like commercially in a sense. And what I mean by that is like you have to go out your way to find new people. You have
Right.
you have to scourge YouTube to find upcoming bands or underground bands. You know how long it took me to find you guys? It wasn't easy.
Right.
So it's like I think with an idea like that where like I even have an idea where it's like we would update it every other month where it's like we would get new bands, we would get new people to come in with motion capture. Like I really had this thing going where it was like people might like the idea. It's just the way I wanted to do it is if it's going to be crowdfunded, I want the people who were crowdfunding it to get the game for free. And I know that the metal bands that are potentially may get involved want to get some type of payment, so it's like I got to figure out a way to like balance out both of the levels where people can get it for free and also the people that are involved can get paid and also make them feel like their time was worth it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but if it's smaller bands, then they should be pretty stoked just to be on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And then obviously if you're building a social media aspect of it, you're going to be promoting those bands, all the time and inviting to collab, inviting them to share. And so there's a give and there's a give, with both sides. So
Yeah.
I think like for a band my size, I'd be like, yeah, dude, let's do it. If you're gonna if crowd's gonna pay for it, we don't have to pay anything out of our pocket, but we get to be on this cool medium. Like I'd be down.
Bro, you really motivate. Oh man, that's oh man, that's it makes me motivated to do it. But it's just like I would have to have a concept, and I don't really have a concept of it right now because it's like I said, I don't really have a developer or anything like that. But I have an idea that is good. It's just I need somebody who can actually help me find somebody who can like get me in the loop of like, okay, we can actually do something like this,
Right. Yeah.
because copyright's going to be a thing, obviously. Um, we got to make sure that everybody gets the rights. Everybody make sure that if your band gets involved, right, we got to make sure that you guys get the proper rights, that you guys get properly credited and stuff like that. That's gonna be fun. That it's just gonna be.
Exactly.
That's the least thing that I'm looking forward to is the legal process because obviously I don't have any ill intentions. I'm not here to get a quick buck off of a band or anything like that. I'm here to make people get the exposure that they deserve and also expose fans to a new era of metal where it's music they may not like and
Right.
they may like, right? Or it's just bands that they never heard of and now they can hear and play.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I don't think you should keep keep pushing towards it, you know, because one day you'll wake up and you'll be like much older and you'll be like, man, I wish I would have looked into that more,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm really thinking about it. I just need to meet a game dev and see how he feels about it, and maybe we can. I don't know. It's just, it's the idea has been in my brain for a long, long time. Like
Right.
and the older I've gotten, and then the connections I've been getting, like I could easily see myself making Blind IC involved, Defamed involved. You guys obviously would be involved because you already sound interested. Like I could already get maybe a possible concept if I can get a game dev and some motion capture stuff, and then we can set something up and then try to see if that works out, and then we can see where that future holds for us. But as of like right now, kind of like what I would need to do is like I would have to find somebody that knows how to build a basic idea of how Guitar Hero works,
Right.
because we cannot I cannot take directly stuff from Guitar Hero without getting sued out of the ass by Activision.
Yeah.
So I could take the highway that they've made and use that as like a concept, but I would have to change that in the future or else I'd probably get sued.
Oh yeah.
So it's just there's a lot of things that are going in my head that has been going on in my head of like how I want to do things. And I'm kind of thinking of rather than having a one set highway and kind of just focusing on that, it's like a custom highway, like in Clone Hero. Have you ever heard of Clone Hero?
No.
Basically, it's just it's a free version of Guitar Hero just without any like the motion capture, and it's like a bunch of custom songs and all that.
Hmm.
And it has the same template as Guitar Hero. The green, red, orange, green. All the buttons. Um, but what's cool about it is like you can put like custom MP3 files in there. So like you
Hmm.
can have like a music video play along with the chart, and like you can have it play in sync. You have to do some tinkering, but it works.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, that's what got me back into playing Guitar Hero. Funny enough, what was that game? But I could kind of take an idea like that and really like expand on it, because if people like you are going to be really interested, it's just I would need to know for sure if people are going to be willing to come to the US and shoot it, because I'm in the US. That's the only
Right.
problem.
I think, but I also think you could find a bunch. You have a bunch of bands here too that
True.
in the U.S. to make it easier. You know, where you could almost start in the U.S. and then work your way out if it picks up.
Ditto. Actually, you know what? That's a good question. Have you performed yet out of country yet, or
I'm trying to think. I guess out of country. Did we play in Mexico back in the day? No, I don't think we have.
no?
No, no. You know, one the most difficult thing about even just touring in the States is the financials.
Mm,
You know, I'm always super candid with everyone I talk to about this. It's like every show we play is cost us probably about $400.
whew,
And
shit.
that's, you know, and that's just a tiny band, you know.
That's
If you're a bigger
expensive.
band, obviously you're making more, but it costs you more too.
Right.
And that's, hey, that's with missing work. That's with room and board. That's with food. That's with gas. That's with having a trailer. That's with wear and tear on the vehicle. So it's like you drive from here to, we're in Vegas, so you drive from here to Phoenix. It's like 5 hours. You're factoring all that in. It's about $400. And so for us, we want to tour, we want to play more out of town shows, but it's like, okay, we got to factor in we lose money every time we play out of town,
Yeah.
which sucks because we want to play more out of town. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we gotta you also have to be you have to be very smart with what you're doing. We're not. When I was younger, and we can do like 2 or 3 week runs, stuff was a lot cheaper back then, but also it's like we didn't have the overhead of like families, 40, 9 to 5 jobs. And so like now it's like, okay, you want to get off of work, you better put in a request, and hardly any jobs are going to give you off like 2 or 3 weeks.
Especially if you're
Um,
wanting to tour.
yeah, yeah, especially. And so like a lot of my guys can't do that. With Take, you'll notice it's probably like every 6 months we have a new member, because we there's just a there's and our commitment isn't huge, but like there is a commitment to the band, and people just we only play like 3 or 4 times maybe a year, and that's even tough for some of the members, so you'll see band pictures from like the last 4 or 5 years, and it's like the drummers stay the same, one of the guitar player kind of, but like we've had roaming, rhythm guitars, we've had roaming bass players, for a while now, and it's just something I've gotten I think we've had like 45 members in 20 years, so
Oh, oh
something
my
you get
God! Wow.
yeah, something you kind of get used to, and we've created videos, uploaded them to Dropbox, and anytime I have a buddy, I'm like, hey, can you play this show with us? Here's all the playthrough videos. Here you go. We'll practice 2 times before the show and be good. So
Good luck.
yeah, yep. Good luck. I mean, on bass, it's fine. It's like whatever. Just hit open the whole time. You're cool.
Just sound chunky.
Just whatever. It's good, man. Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, it's just the hardest part. It's like we've had festival offers on the other side of the country. We've had a festival offer and in like Europe, and it's just like I don't know how to get over there. I don't know how to get out there without. And if you're gonna have us fly out, to the East Coast for a show, you're looking at like freaking $3,000, $4,000.
yeah, and that's
If you're gonna go to Europe, dude, like that, you're looking at $7,000 to $10,000, and that's just I can't do that. I have a 5-year-old, and like and
I don't.
and a wife to take care of, and so do some of the other members too. So it's like it's hard. It's hard. You have to balance how much can I give to the band, and how much can I hold back and know that I have to support my family.
Yeah.
So for the most part, we have a show in LA coming up in August, which is going to be cool, and then we're always planning on like different shows, and we'll have a show at the end of October in Vegas, but those are pretty much the only shows we have lined up. And if people ask us, we'll look into it pretty heavily and weigh the options and whatnot. But I do know, we're planning on next March to do weekend runs where it's like a Friday, Saturday, LA, Fresno, and then coming back and then doing like New Mexico and Arizona. But I'm talking to my manager and I'm like, how do we afford this? So we're always looking for try to release some new merch options that can help pay for stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll see. But it is tough, man. I feel for all those bands that are like every single night they're playing shows. Like that is freaking awesome. But man, they got to be hurting.
Oh, dude, it's so funny that you say that. Oh my God, that's so funny that you were saying that. So, the band I interviewed was called. They're called Walking Down Main, right?
Okay.
And they're a Detroit local band to me. So I hit them up. I did an interview with them. Super cool dudes. And that's when I told them, I was like, hey, I've never been to a concert before. So they went out of their way to actually buy me a ticket. I got a free
That's
ticket.
cool.
Yeah, so I went to Detroit yesterday. This was yesterday. And yeah, they performed. They were the opener. Wow. Oh, what an opener, man. Damn. What an
That's
opener.
awesome.
Like that's all I got. Like for my first time actually seeing a performance, what an opener. And then like Enox was like the second band. So good. They were wow. They were really man, they were really feeding off of my energy for sure. That was after they were done performing, I was really just I was so pooped cuz I was like, man, cuz like I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like I was really feeling the music, bro. They were telling me to jump. I was jumping. I was
There
bobbing
you
my
go.
head. I was really feeling it. Like that was fun. Like that's a core memory for sure for the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
That
And that's all we asked for. It's like when I watch like these huge bands performing,
yeah.
and I'm like, their energy is crazy,
Yeah.
but in reality, a lot of their energy is just the crowd.
Yeah.
I would say it's almost like 50-50, because
Yeah.
if you're putting on an incredible show on stage and the crowd is just standing there just looking at you, like that sucks you dry,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, am I not doing a good job? And in those instances we still try to just go nuts and have as much fun as we can, but when the crowd is all jumping or head banging and just losing their minds, that is something magical,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah. Dude, yesterday the crowd was fun, bro. That
nice. That's great. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, for my first concert ever, um, if I ever meet somebody who's never been to a concert like me and they're nervous, I would be so excited to tell them they have nothing to be nervous about and it's going to be the most fun they have ever had in their life.
Right.
It the only thing that kind of sucked was it was a bar and everything in there was pretty much alcoholic and like I don't drink alcohol.
Hmm.
So I was able to get a drink, but it was like, there were some people drinking and stuff. I was just kind of like vibing out whatever. But a lot of the performers and stuff like that, like I had some pretty cool videos that I could probably send to you later if you're interested. Of like,
That'd be
I
awesome. Yeah.
I was right up front, you know, right up front stage, and after I left, yeah, no, my ears were ringing for a good couple hours.
How many people were there, do you think?
Um, so I was talking to the vocalist, and he was telling me that about 100 people were there.
Nice.
So it wasn't sold out, but it was when Skyline was about on. The place was getting pretty packed. Like
Right.
whoa. And I looked up how popular they were. Holy shit, they're pretty known. 11 million monthly listeners. No wonder why they were getting. No wonder why that place was packed.
Right.
They're very well known. And I,
That's awesome.
what's so funny? It's so funny because everybody in the crowd, like they were asking the crowd. They were like, "Who's heard of Skyline?" Everybody in the crowd, everybody was like, "Woo!" Besides me.
you're like,
I
I'm
f-
not sure about this.
I felt so awkward. I was like, my bad. The thing is that I think I've heard of them before once because they've done a cover of "The Way You Lie" by Eminem and Rihanna, and I've heard of it before, but I couldn't. I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't tell you for sure because it's like after seeing them perform live, they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were pretty good,
Right.
but it wasn't it wasn't my taste in my opinion. Like not Enoch's Walking Down Main and Disaster Piece. They Disaster Piece was alright, I guess. They too much screaming for me. I didn't. That's for me. I don't like too much screaming. If it's all screaming, there's nothing really much to it. Like what am I really listening to? If it here's how I feel about it. If you have like a cool breakdown with screaming in it, then yeah, you got me interested. But with Disaster Piece, a lot of their songs were literally just him screaming into the mic, and like the songs were good, but it 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 just wasn't for me, man. Like I liked the two bands, and then everybody else was just not really for me. I don't know. It was like I don't know. I really tried liking it. Like I
And that's fine. I mean, you're not gonna you could have the most popular band in the world, and you know 90% of the people that you let listen to it will say I don't like it. You
that
know,
that's fair.
so it's like you're not gonna like everybody, and that's totally fine. And just like most of the people that listen to us, they're like, probably not for me, you know. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like we maybe we can get the 1 out of 10, you know, the 1 out of 100 people, you know,
Yeah.
that would still be a win for us. And um, so yeah, I a long time ago, I always just tell people, I'm like, just be honest, you know, you don't have to be cruel in your opinions, you know,
Yeah.
but just be honest, you know, especially with bands and with artists. It's like I want to hear, you know, what people think. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, at the end of the day, like honestly, I like what I make and I like
Yeah.
listening to what I make, and that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. But if you're like, hey, I have a suggestion, or this is why I don't like you, and it's not just because, hey, you suck, you know, it's like
Yeah.
actually you took the time to listen and you are saying, hey, this is my in-depth review of why I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. I'm like, cool, respect. Like we can still be friends. It's fine. You know,
Yeah.
I don't
No.
if you don't like my band, like that's totally cool. You know, one of the main focuses of Take is like building relationships, and it's like it doesn't matter really if you like our music, and if you do, it's a plus. But if we can have an actual relationship, you know, with the scene, with the community, with the people that go to these shows, then that's a win for us, you
Yeah.
know. And it's just trying to come along, you know, people who might be hurting, might be struggling, and just letting them know like, hey, we've been there, we've been in some of these situations, and we can help each other out.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And I definitely like that. And I love when bands are like that. Especially when they're performing live. Um, with yesterday. It's so great that you even acknowledge that because walking down Main, they were checking up on me, making sure I was doing good and
Nice.
staying hydrated. Dude, they were the nicest people, man. Oh,
That's
they,
awesome.
dude, they were so cool and be like, it was so surreal for me because like it was the day so it was so funny how it worked. So 2 days before the concert I interviewed them and I was like, I was just chatting it up with them, super cool dudes, down to earth. And when they got me the ticket, they're like, are you free Monday? I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I kind of thought they were just joking. you know and they're like, well, hey man, clear your schedule, bro, we're gonna buy you a ticket and
Nice.
we want you to come. I was like, bro, for real? And like I sent them my email. Yeah, I went and it was probably like I said, and I'll say it a million times over, it was the most funnest night I've had in my life.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like
awesome. See, and you know, you just never know. Like, yeah, I was looking at that shirt.
yeah.
You just never know, like in music, out of music, you know how you impact somebody's life by just being kind, right?
Yeah. um I met uh, I met the vocalist of the Enox and the guitarist. And the guitarist, what a dude! Oh my god, what a shredder! I was like, I like there. I've never been like I was gonna tell him, but I didn't get a chance to. But I at least got the chance to tell him that he inspires me to become a better guitarist.
That's
But
awesome.
I was so memorized with how he was playing. Like I was just watching him play. I was never so focused on someone playing like until I was watching him like I was like, "Whoa." Like don't get me wrong, the Walking Down main guitarist, Jesse, he shredder, absolute holy shit, can kill on a guitar, all right?
Right.
But this man, I would love to see those two do a guitar battle. Oh God, yes.
You should set that
Bring
up.
bring back guitar battles.
Yeah, you should set that up, dude.
I might. I honestly might. I might dead ass because like like we got to bring back guitar battles. Remember guitar battles? Oh,
I honestly, I'm right with you. I miss those so much.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, did I lose you?
no, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, there I am. Sorry.
No, 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 you're good.
Um, yeah, we definitely need to do that. Especially, hey, let's do it during our middle of our set.
Dude, that would be so badass. Oh, I might have to talk to them about that. and see what they have and see what they say about that, because that'd be really cool. The power of the solos.
There you go.
uh,
Yep, exactly.
um, but I wanted to. I don't know if that was a call or something that you had to take, or
Oh no, you're good. I probably got like 15 minutes or so,
okay.
and then I got to get back to work. I work for myself, but
Ah,
I do like social media and stuff for different people. So
yeah, no,
um,
same here. Hey, man, same here. I did
that's
same here,
awesome.
brother.
There you go.
So,
Love it.
yeah, I won't take up much more of your time. I kind of just wanted to quickly touch on Golden Calf, because
Yeah,
I did have some questions about it. Um,
absolutely, man.
so, so obviously you guys were wearing, the political masks and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to touch bases on that and like kind of like not particularly get in political views, obviously, because I don't want to get
Uh-huh.
into that, but more of what was the meaning behind the tapes on the mask, and then stuff like like the stuff like that.
Okay, well, I will see how I can word this without being too political. But
Yeah.
um, with Take, it's always been we want to challenge people to think about what they believe, whether you're right, whether you're left, whether you're down the middle. We want to have people look at what they've been told. And so for us, me being a believer
Hmm.
and seeing all of these so-called believers just worshiping Donald Trump, um, I'm like, well, I gotta say something about that. And so Golden Calf is basically saying that Donald Trump became that golden calf to so many of like the believers or whatever, and kind of asking them to question like, am I putting my faith where it needs to be?
Right.
And so for us, it's always been like, I don't trust, man. Like I don't, I'm. I'll tell you straight up. Like I don't trust the government. Like
I I'm
I
with
tell
you.
people, anything anybody tells you, whether it's me telling you about my faith or whether it's somebody else telling you something they believe, like you should question it and challenge it.
Right.
And that's what we want to encourage people to do. It's like don't just take things at face value. Like actually go out, do the research. Don't just fall in line with what our society says. Sorry, dogs are barking.
There you go.
Don't just fall in line with what our society says to fall in line with, but
Yeah.
actually go out and do the research and think for yourself. Don't just be a pawn. The government, the leaders, they want the votes. They want your backing, and they'll say and do anything to get those.
Yeah.
And so, I recognized as the writer of that song. It's like, hey, Donald Trump will say stuff to get the right to do stuff,
Yep.
just as like Biden and Kamala were saying, stuff to the left to get them to do stuff. And it's like, I don't think either side actually cares about us. They're really just submitting to the lobbyists that are paying them to say these things. So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
this we need to think for ourselves and do the research. And I think we'd all be better for it because at the end of the day, it's like we're so divided. Um, we need to start coming together. And they love to divide. They love, that one side hates the other side with a passion. And when we're down the middle and we're strong, then that's when they really, really feel threatened. So
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
what that song is about. It's just about challenging people to think like, hey, I probably shouldn't be worshiping the government. you know,
Yeah.
they have their agenda, and their agenda for the most part isn't what is necessary or what's needed from the masses.
For sure. And like it's kind of funny, kind of like last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you go because I know you got to go. But for me, I'm gonna be honest with you. um I do believe in a power, but I don't really know what to believe in, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But
Right.
um, listening to your song Golden Calf, that's what really reached out to me, and I was like, damn, like he's really speaking facts, and like that's what made me want to reach out to you guys, and like as somebody who is kind of a non-believer on certain things, how do you feel
Hmm.
about that out of curiosity?
I mean, I it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't affect me really at all. It's just one of those things where, briefly, like I didn't know what to believe either. And, I took classes, I took a bunch of different stuff. And at the end of the day, I was just about to kill myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I had my encounter with God. And then I started doing my research and all, and because I don't just tell people do their research, and I don't just have blind faith. It's just one of those things where I started to like, okay, I'm going to look at the different facts of what I'm being told is real and compare it to a bunch of other things, and then make my decision.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so like, believer or non-believer, man, like that's that's what I love about the scene the most is like you come into a group of people who believe a ton of different things, and we need to figure out how to get along. And for the most part, we do, because when you learn something from me that you probably have never been exposed to, and I learn something from you that I've never been exposed to, like that just makes us stronger.
Yeah. 100%.
Um,
I agree.
yeah. And so it's like, okay, I try to tell people all the time, don't judge a book by the cover, like get to know somebody
Yeah.
and get to know what they're dealing with and what they're struggling with, and, where they come from. It's like we all battle with different stuff. And at the end of the day, we need to understand that to be able to make a better assessment of who we're talking to or who we're dealing with. So, I
100%.
I don't have a problem. You can believe in whatever you want, and
Yeah.
we'll still be friends.
That's good to hear, man. And honestly, with yeah, I kind of I struggled with depression a little bit, and I attempted when I was young. To be honest, I attempted to take my own life at a young age too, but
Hmm.
I never really had an encounterment. It was more of like an enlightenment of like I had something better to do with my life,
Right.
and like I knew I had some type of potential in my life,
Hmm.
and like realizing where I am now, talking to you and getting in touch with these other bands and stuff like that, I think I kind of realized where I was meant to be in my life. And
Yeah.
like I feel like I kind of just did that by myself, if that makes sense.
I get that. Yeah, I feel like we all have gifts and we all have talents, and we can use them to make, you know, our community better, our city better, our country better, and the world better ultimately.
Yeah.
And I think once people are like, oh, I actually do have a gift and a talent I can contribute,
Yeah.
and some people are kind of scared to use it sometimes, but I try to tell people, hey, don't be scared to use what talents you've been given, and and to go out and make a change and go out to make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what I've been doing half of my life after I figured out I can do impressions. So,
There you go.
yeah, and
That's awesome.
putting people like you and other people's smiles on their faces, something that I think that's really what I was meant to do. Is like I don't really call myself an entertainer because like I'm not like that, but I want to become an entertainer, so that's why I'm
Hmm.
doing the things like this.
Right.
So you giving me the time to talk to you about your super cool band, which I love listening to, and getting to know more you personally, and more just pretty much just having a chill session, just hanging out and getting to know you and the band more. It's really cool. So I really, really appreciate it, my man.
Well, it goes both ways, and I appreciate you letting me come on here and talk and sharing some ideas and letting me listen to some of your cool ideas. So hopefully we can move forward, and you can send me, hey, let's meet up and we can do like the motion capture stuff.
Yeah, dude. Dude, if that actually happens, man, I'm gonna be sending you a lot of happy texts.
Yeah.
Dude,
I look forward
I'd,
to it.
I'd be, oh, dude, if that's something that actually happens, dude, you don't even understand. That'd be such a crazy project. It's gonna be such a crazy project, but it's definitely doable. It's just,
Hmm.
I just need to get the right camera.
Yeah.
I need to get good motion capture suits. I need to find a place to rent out to do the
Right.
recording,
Yeah.
and then I
And
gotta.
just remember, it's not. I get stuck sometimes thinking it has to happen now. It has to happen
Oh
now, and I
no,
skip
I know it's not gonna happen
all the
now.
steps. Yeah. Yeah. I want to happen now, and I skip all these steps, and not realizing like, okay, if I take one little small step, that's still a step in the right direction. So,
Yeah,
don't get discouraged, because that is a cool idea.
yeah, no, I'm not. I'm gonna definitely keep you updated and all that. But
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go and let you do your thing. And
I appreciate it, dude. And stay in touch.
yeah, of
Message me
course.
whenever. All right.
Yeah, of course, man. I appreciate you,
All right.
man. And
Have a good one, dude. Have a
yeah,
good
yeah,
one. Thanks, man.
yeah. See you later, man. Alrighty. Well, that was super fun. Whoops. There we go. Well, we hit an hour. All right. So that's the end of the interview. Um, I'll see you guys in the next interview. Farewell.